open the closet, I look in the direction of my friend, and my heart drops.
He's beating in the closet?
My friends?
He beat into you sleeping. I caught my friend beating it in my room.
I sit up in pure disbelief. No freaking way. I open the closet, I look in the direction of my friend, and my heart drops. I see my friend's blanket going up, down, up,
He
down,
better than
in
me.
a rapid.
He better than me. I would have just had it out. If I'm doing it in your room, you're gonna know I'm doing it in your room, and I'm gonna make sure I leave a very visible, verifiable piece of proof.
Motion. You read the title already. Let's just get this over with. A couple weeks ago, I was heading home after having a very exhausting day that honestly deserves its own video. Needless to say, the only thing I could think about was getting home and getting some sleep because I was beat. I pull up and immediately go to my room to hit the sheets, and at the time one of my good homies was visiting for a couple of days. He was sleeping on a mattress in the corner of my room. My bed is next to this closet and I like to open it because
that was your first mistake. You invited your friend over to stay for a couple of days. You know, we can hang out all day, but at the end of the day, bro, you gonna have to go home. I don't want to know how you are at night. I don't want to see you at night, bro. I don't want to have to wake up from my midnight pee and then see you in my house. I really don't. So you can skedaddle.
I don't know. Honestly, I just like it. I lay down, but since I was having such a bad night, I couldn't get into that deep sleep because my mind was so active and just distracted, which is freaking stupid, bro. Literally 5 minutes ago, I had to enter the 5th dimension to keep my eyelids up. But the second I lay down on a pillow with a tucked in blanket in a cool temperature, pitch dark room with light white noise, sleeping now becomes a problem.
It be like that sometimes. I be having a rough night's sleep. It makes no sense because why do I have to fake sleep to sleep? Just let me sleep. Why do I have to pretend and play this game with my body for me to go to sleep? There's no switch. My brain, as soon as I want to lift my finger, I can lift it immediately. But when I want to sleep and shut my brain off, it's like, hold on, wait, let's wait a little bit. Let's see if you actually really want to sleep. I do.
Okay. But there's only so much tossing and turning you can do until you eventually crash out of exhaustion. And when I did fall asleep, it wasn't that deep of a sleep.
You don't want to fall asleep with your mouth open.
Been woken up by anything, which is exactly what happened at around 6:30 a.m. because I hear this very subtle, repetitive slapping noise. At first, I just assumed it was the sound of the house's ground foundation setting. You know, the typical excuse you say to calm yourself when you wake up to noises at night.
Oh yeah.
The ground foundation of my 2nd-story apartment was setting.
Yeah. I ain't never heard of that before, but I'm gonna pretend like I know what he's talking about. Yeah, ground foundation setting. How hard do you have to beat for there to be clapping sounds? I don't think I've ever beat and I'm hearing a clap. Are y'all pounding y'all shit? I don't know, bro.
Makes total sense, actually. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that. I'm fine. Yo, right? I'm good. I'm not good. The sound didn't stop and it was coming from inside the apartment?
6:30 is
coming from my
ridiculous.
room. I listened to the sound again and I realized I know this sound. I've heard this sound. In fact, I am an active connoisseur of this sound. I've realized—
No, this man's tempo is kind of crazy though. He's like, bro, control your tempo a little bit. That's kind of off, bro. You can tell he's not no musician, no connoisseur like myself. 6:30 in the morning. I feel like you have to be jobless to be beating at 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 is such an inconvenient time.
I've realized what's going on, and with there only being one other person who can make the sound in the room, I come to a horrible conclusion. I sit up in pure disbelief. No freaking way. I open the closet, I look in the direction of my friend, and my heart drops.
He's beating in the closet?
My friends?
He beating to you sleeping. If he's in the closet, he might just be peeking out every so often, looking at you, then going back in to stroke. That's just my guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's just my assumption. Let's see.
Blanket going up, down, up,
oh,
down,
so he's not in the closet. Okay.
motion. Yep, this is my life.
Or is he in the closet?
Sitting in a room, voluntarily listening to another guy beat his meat. Does that make me gay? But me being too tired to confront the man who was stroking loudly right next to me, I decided to turn the other cheek.
I would have just been mad. You're waking up to another man start trying to nut. That's what you're waking up to. You're waking up to your friend trying to nut. I'm yelling. Stop beating your like, especially since you said you had a bad day. I'll be damned if you bust in my ear.
Decided to ignore it, lay down, and give him time to finish, I guess.
You get.
So I pop in my AirPods, lay down, but I still hear the sound. It's just muffled. But I decided to just ignore it for a little more. Bro.
It kept going.
I wait for 45 minutes. At this point, I'm no longer grossed out. Like, I'm not even upset. Wow, I am being very sus right now. I'm
45?
not annoyed or upset because
You're
the
impressed?
only thing that I can be at this point
Is impressed.
is impressed because the consistent speed of his work.
He's beating skin off at that point. There's no way. There is no way he's not beating skin off. I'm disappointed. 45 minutes straight. If you don't get a quick 5-minute in, you went from 6:30 a.m. beating to 7:15 a.m. What is your work life like? Non-existent.
Hasn't changed. Like, the pacing was at a constant for 45 freaking minutes. What type of stamina does this guy have? If you don't get out of my house and go pro? What? But I take my phone and set a timer for like 3 seconds. The plan is to make it look like my alarm went off and I'm waking up to, you know, so it could be like, oh dang, fun time's over. I turn on my timer and 3, 2, 1.
It's going the opposite way, I think.
My alarm goes off.
You're a fucking bitch. You're a bitch. No, you are a bitch for that. I hope you know, bro. Nah, you're an asshole. Oh my God, bro.
For 2 whole minutes, and my friend is still going. This guy is freaking tunnel vision.
I'm telling you, he was waiting in the closet, waiting for you to peek, and he wanted to let one rip right in your eye.
And is still going. This guy is freaking tunnel vision. There's like no way he can be this focused. He is literally ignoring my existence for a nut. I thought we had something. But 45 minutes is enough. I get up, close my eyes, turn on the light in the room, and I walk out and pretend I went to the bathroom. I stayed in the bathroom for like 7 minutes.
Because you were beating your thing too?
No way he hasn't noticed me by now. So I confidently leave the bathroom, but from the hallway, I can still hear him going to town. Did he take like a water break or something? How is he still going? In one hand, I have the fist that I'm about to rock him with, and in the other, I have a casting couch recruiting executive because he's been going for like an hour now. This is just pure talent at this point. But now is not the time for him to flex. I just wanted to sleep. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. I want to run hands. So
I don't even think he's beating. What do y'all think he's actually doing? If he's not beating, because there's no way he's beating for 45 minutes straight. I refuse to believe. What if he fell asleep with a video on repeat? That's my assumption. I think he fell asleep to a video on repeat.
The flex. I just wanted to sleep. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. I want to run hands. So I burst into the door. But before I can even do anything, his blanket lifts all the way up.
Never mind.
I see everything.
Never mind.
And then it hits me. Oh, wrong sound effect. My bad. Here. The noise was being caused by his fan. He had just bought one of those like really powerful fans and he placed it at an angle like right under his blanket. So the whole time it was the sound of his blankets flapping and hitting the bed in an up and down motion. And when I opened the door, the gust of wind, I guess, lifted his blanket to reveal that my guy was sound asleep and I am sound asleep.
I don't know any blankets that make the sound of. They don't exist. They're not real. You My friend, you're lying to me. I cry real diamonds and I hate it.
Hi everyone, I'm Agnes. I have a
Magnus?
miraculous condition that is seen only in very few people in the world.
Okay.
When you find out what it is, I'm sure you'll be very surprised and will probably wish you had it too.
I don't
But
believe you
please
cry
wait
diamonds.
until you hear the whole story. I'm sure you're going to change your mind because as you will soon see, this is in no way a precious gift bestowed on me.
Okay.
It's definitely a curse.
Okay.
Before starting elementary school, I was always at home. My mom wouldn't let me go to preschool or kindergarten.
Okay.
I really wanted to go to kindergarten because my cousin Casey was going. And I wanted to be just like her.
Aw, they don't have blue eyes. Is it because she has blonde hair and black eyes? Not everyone can be a demon. Okay, it's okay. You weren't meant to be a demon like these folks.
Casey was going. And I wanted to be just like her. But no matter how much I begged her, my mom wouldn't let me.
Why?
I rarely saw my dad because he was traveling for work all the time.
Damn.
He was home for only a few days a month. One time when
A
he was
few
home, I
days?
asked him, Dad, why can't I go to kindergarten like Casey? Will you talk to Mom? I really want to go. My dad shrugged. I told your mother many times, but she won't listen. She
Okay.
says you'll go to elementary school. Your mother is the most stubborn person in the world.
I mean, it's
I'm
just
sorry, but
kindergarten.
there's
You're not
nothing I can
missing
do about
much.
it.
You're not missing much. The only thing you're really missing is nap time. I remember some, I can't call her a bitch. We're just gonna call him a little girl, was drawing on the ground near where I was sleeping during nap time. I woke up. The teacher gets mad at me, and I was knocked out. And you know what I see? In the corner of my eye, in the back of the classroom, she over here like this.
But when he also told me that I couldn't go to kindergarten, I started crying. My mom was making dinner in the kitchen. She ran over to me when she heard me crying.
Okay.
She grabbed my hand and took me to my room. Then she
Why?
said, Agnes dear, please don't cry when your father's here. She always used to tell me
What?
this. I was so little. I couldn't think of asking my mom, why do you not want me to cry when my father's around?
What?
I was able to find out the reason many years later. Thankfully, my mom kept her promise when it came time for me to start school. Of course, she wanted me to start my education, too. But on the first day, she told me over and over, no matter what happens, don't ever cry at school. It's very important. Do you understand, Agnes?
That's such a weird
Even
thing
though I
to say.
said, yes, Mommy, every time, she kept telling me the same thing every day. When I would
Have
come
y'all ever
home from
cried? Have y'all ever cried in school?
Crying never solves anything.
I was in like 4th grade. Thought that teacher took my phone. Or it was 5th grade. Told me, hey, you don't get to play at recess. And you have silent lunch for the rest of the year.
school, she would ask, honey, did you cry at school?
No, Mom.
In the morning, as she was dropping me off, she'd say, no crying at school, no matter what happens.
That's so
My mom's
weird.
obsession with my crying at school continued for years. When I was a little older, I tried asking her why she was
How
so
old?
concerned about it. Mom would say, you're too young. I will explain it to you when you are a little older, and wouldn't say anything
How
else.
old is she?
Back then, I had a crush on a boy at school named Brody. I thought he also liked me because he would do
Brody?
all kinds of things to try to get my attention. One day,
Brody?
he was doing skateboard tricks in the schoolyard to impress me.
My n that was just an ollie. That was not no trick. That was beginner level. Brody, get your ass out of here. Come on now, we pro skaters around here. Ain't no one impressed by that. I could do that when I was 6. Look at him. Weak ass jump, you are 3 inches off the board. Looking like Peter Pan, bro. Oh, man.
At the same time, he was looking at me and checking to see if I was watching him. All of a sudden, his skateboard flew out from under his feet, and he fell really badly.
Yeah.
I ran over to him right away. He was in so much pain that he started crying, not caring that I was standing next to him. He was sobbing uncontrollably. That moment,
Weak
I
ass
noticed
tricks.
that liquid was coming out of his eyes and running down his cheeks. I was really surprised to see this because that's not what happens when I cry.
Okay.
I couldn't help myself and even touched his tear with the tip of my finger. Brody thought I was showing him affection and started crying more easily. And thanks to this, I was able to take a closer look at the liquid coming out of his eyes. You
Don't put it
must
in
be
your mouth.
wondering why I was so surprised. Because when I cried, instead of liquid, I had small glass-like particles coming out of my eyes. Until
She's
then,
an infinite diamond resource. If she was in Minecraft, we'd keep her where the villagers are. I'm gonna get all the diamond swords.
You're a liar.
I had never seen someone crying up close. That's why the
Okay.
liquid coming out of Brody's eyes had really surprised me. When I got back home, my mom asked me her usual question.
Did you cry
at
today?
school? I said to her, no, I didn't. But a friend of mine did, and told her about what happened. There were lots of questions in my mind. Was it Brody who cried in a strange way, or was it me? Did other people also have liquid coming out of their eyes, or did they have
You've
the
never
small
seen
particles
someone
like
cry on
me?
TV or
I
something?
wanted to know which one of us was normal. My mom took a deep breath. Then she said, Agnes, what I'm about to tell you will need to stay as our secret.
Okay.
You can't tell this to anyone, including your father. She
Okay.
started explaining that, first off, that liquid is called a tear, and told me that normally when people cry, salt water or tears come out of their eyes. But because I was a
Y'all like the taste of tears? I was in 7th grade. I would see people crying all in the hallway because there was a lot of heartbreaks going on, so everyone was breaking up and whatnot. Everyone I was seeing crying, I just give them like a little lick off some of their tears, and I used to mix the taste and texture in my mouth.
special kid, I cried differently. Then she added, there's something else that is important for you to know. What comes out of your eyes is not glass, it's diamonds. That was the day I found out that diamonds are very valuable.
Yeah?
They're so valuable that if we sold the little diamond crumbs that come out when I cry, we could buy a luxury home.
BS!
I couldn't believe what I was-
Man, that's next level cap. You can buy a luxury home. Why am I getting lied to right now? What are they gaining? Like I said, I've never lied, so I hate being lied to.
Hearing.
Me either.
So why don't we? I asked. My mom said, because if people find out you're crying diamonds, that might have really dangerous consequences. What kind of dangerous consequences? I asked.
Oh, you know, kidnapping, murdering, torturing, you know, so on and so forth. The light stuff, you know, it's not too crazy. Could be worse.
And my mom said in a worried voice, Agnes, bad men might kidnap you. Then they'd force you to cry all the time so that the diamonds come out. The mafia may hold you hostage every single day of your whole life.
Damn.
Even though I was young, I understood the gravity of the situation. I promised my mom that I would never mention this to anyone ever. This would be our secret. About 4 years
Until
after
it
that
wasn't.
conversation, my parents
About
were
4 years?
involved in a car crash.
Damn.
My dad did not have any serious injuries. But despite the doctor's best efforts, my mom didn't make it. I felt like I was in a bad dream. I wouldn't
Damn. So how about them diamonds?
be able to see the most beloved person in my life
Wake
anymore.
up.
Despite my grief, I kept the promise that I had made to her. Not even one speck of diamond came out of my eyes at my mom's funeral. I didn't cry at all.
I'm gonna
People
let you know, I'll
probably
be
thought that I
stacking up
never
diamonds my
cried
whole
because I
life.
was in shock, but that wasn't the case. The truth was that every minute I was alone, I spent crying for my mom. I was putting the small diamonds that come out of my eyes into
Yeah.
a bag and hiding them in a closet in the basement.
You
The
like a
basement
crackhead.
was the safest place in our house because nobody had used it for a long time. I didn't collect the diamonds because I wanted to sell them. I had to hide them because my secret would be out if someone had found them.
No! Sell them! Or if you wanna hide them forever, bury them or something. Not hide it in your basement. Throw it into the lake. Throw it into an ocean or something. But you hiding them in your basement, you're stupid. How old is she, bruh?
Because I couldn't stay home by myself, my dad had to stop traveling. He got transferred to another department at work. I told you earlier that my dad and I didn't have the best relationship. I thought that was because we spent too little time together, but it turned out that wasn't the reason. Now
why
he
is
was
it?
always home, but still, we never became very close. 4.5 months after my mom's passing, my dad said to me, "There's someone in my life. I'm thinking about marrying her." I was
What?
obviously shocked, but I couldn't say anything, so I just nodded. Now I had a stepmother. I was so sad that my dad had gotten married so quickly.
Wait, he got married 4.5 months afterwards? He was cheating the whole time. He wasn't working when he was traveling, I can tell you that much. Or he was working for some fucking cheeks. Like,
And his new wife didn't seem like a nice person.
oh, she's
and if
blonde.
that wasn't enough, my
Oh,
stepmother
and she has some blue eyes around her outside. Yeah, she blonde hair, blue eyes, she a demon.
had a daughter named Nancy, and she was just like her mom. It didn't seem possible for me to have a relationship with them. I understood that from now on, I was a stranger in my own house. After they got married, my stepmother and her daughter moved in. Thankfully, our house was big enough. I didn't have to share a room with Nancy. She got her
Nancy's
own
gonna
room.
find the
But little
diamonds.
Miss Nancy didn't like her room. My friends come over for slumber parties all the time. Agnes's room is bigger. She should move into my room. And
What?
I into hers, she said.
What?
My dad came to tell me this. Nancy is younger than you. Let's not upset her, he said.
What?
I couldn't help it and told him what I really thought of both Nancy and her mom. I also said to him, if my mom is watching us right now, I'm sure she's very upset that you've gotten married so quickly.
She be shadowboxing you in the heavens, bro. She's haunting your shit. One day, you're gonna wake up with a detached penal.
I think my brain just committed suicide.
My dad's face turned red and he screamed, "You're switching rooms with Nancy tomorrow. From now on, you will eat your dinner in your room. I don't want to see your face for a long time." That day, I cried in my room for hours. Naturally, a lot of tiny diamonds came out of my eyes. They were all over the place as I was stomping on the floor with anger. When I woke up in the morning, I picked them up one by one and put them in small plastic bags.
I killed my dad.
That afternoon, Nancy and I switched rooms. I had carefully picked up all the diamonds that had fallen around while I was crying. But unfortunately, I did the stupidest thing and left one of the bags under the bed. When Nancy found the plastic bag, she took it to her mom. Her mom figured out right away that the bag was full of diamonds. But still, she wanted to make sure by showing them to a jeweler she knew. When the man confirmed it, my stepmother told my dad about what happened.
So dumb, bro.
Nancy came to my room and told me my dad wanted to see me. I had no idea what had happened.
Fuck that nigga, bro. You can see this dick. That's what you should have said. You can look at this cock. It's turning me on!
But I still felt that something wasn't quite right. When I walked into the living room and saw the little bag full of diamonds, I was so shocked. My dad asked me, "Agnes, where did you find these?" I couldn't answer at first. I started rambling incoherently. My dad said, "There's a fortune in that bag. I'm asking you again, where did you find these diamonds?"
Don't worry about it.
I was never able to lie to anyone's face in my whole life, and now I was going to tell the truth again.
What?
Dad,
No.
they come out of my eyes when I...
You haven't learned nothing. Stupid ass daughter, bro. So dumb. So ignorant.
I cry, I said. My stepmother and Nancy burst out laughing. My stepmother said, "Did you say your eyes? Couldn't you make up a better lie? This is the worst lie I have ever heard in my life."
Yes.
I told them it wasn't a lie.
Why?
But they didn't believe me. My dad said, "Agnes, you're embarrassing me. Tell us the truth now." "I am telling the truth," I screamed and started crying. Of course, tiny diamonds started coming out of my eyes as I cried. My dad, my stepmother, and Nancy were staring at me astonished. After witnessing this scene, they were finally convinced I was telling the truth.
Why?
As you might guess, my life completely changed after that day. I went through things that you can't even imagine. You won't believe the things my stepmother did to me after learning about my condition.
Well, guess whose fault that is? Yours. Your mom warned you, and you still did it. They gave you 3 times to cop out. You had multiple opportunities. You're an idiot.
Meanwhile,
There's a part 2. I don't know if I want to watch part 2. I'm mad. I Cry Real Diamonds part 2.
It was my dad who spoke first. "Agnes, this is unbelievable and very dangerous too.
Yes,
If people
exactly.
knew about this, really bad things could happen to you.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
understand now why your mother kept this, even from me." Then he turned to my stepmother and her daughter. "From now on, Agnes's secret is our secret too. To protect her, we can't tell anyone about it."
Y'all can't trust a blonde. Y'all are trusting 2 blondes with y'all secrets. You already know the first thing she gonna do. The little girl gonna post on Snapchat. "Oh my God, my stepsis cries tears of diamond. Oh my God, let's kidnap her." Like, I already see it.
"I want you to promise that you won't." They both nodded and said, "We promise." Then my stepmother grabbed the bag of diamonds from my dad, which of course wasn't surprising. "But there's no harm in selling these. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone where they came from. Agnes, from now on, you'll give me the diamonds that come out of your eyes.
What?
And I'll sell them for our family."
What?
The next day, my stepmother and her daughter came home with a ton of shopping bags. Looking at the bags, I could tell that they went to all the most expensive stores. Apparently, when my
Really? I can't tell. This don't have a brand on them. I don't know this brand. What are you talking about?
stepmother said our family, she meant only herself and her own daughter.
Duh.
My stepmother's daughter, Nancy, came to my room that evening. She was very excited, saying, "My mom says it would be so wonderful to move into a big, beautiful house. And we can do it thanks to you. It wouldn't hurt you to cry a little. What do you say?" It was useless to argue. I said, "Okay, I'll collect and give you the diamonds if I cry."
I'm not gonna lie. You have no backbone. Yo, dad ain't got no backbone. Where's the... okay, whatever.
Just to get rid of her, she left my room ecstatic. Next morning, when I came to get breakfast, I saw my stepmother and her daughter waiting for me impatiently. My stepmother asked, "Did you cry? Where are the diamonds?" I was so angry. Before I could say anything, Dad said, "Honey, you shouldn't say things like that.
Exactly.
Agnes should never feel like she's under pressure," which shut my stepmother up. This subject didn't come up again for a while. I was surprised that they gave up so quickly. Later, I found out it was because they still had money. They were going shopping almost every day. But after a while, they stopped. That's when I figured the money had run out.
Yeah.
One day, I was hanging out in my room after school. Nancy came in and said, "Mom is calling you. She made popcorn." She says, "Let's watch a movie together." I was surprised because
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Come on, have you learned something? Have you learned anything yet? I know you're not falling for the bait.
this was very unusual. I thought to myself, where did this come from? When I
Okay.
came to the living room, my stepmother was looking
She's
at me with a fake
suspicious.
smile on her face. "Agnes, this movie has very good reviews. Let's watch it together." She
She thinks she's slick. She's about to make her watch a sad movie to see if she can get her to cry. She probably has the hot popcorn as hot as possible to see if she could cry. You not slick, bro. You not slick. She wants to be Mike Jack, but you're not a smooth criminal.
So we started watching this Will Smith movie. First, the main character lost his job. Then his wife left him.
See?
He was left with his 6-year-old son.
Who
As if
died?
that weren't enough, the landlord kicked them out. They
Yep.
had to start living on the streets. When I saw my stepmother and Nancy crying their hearts out, I knew what they were trying to do.
You feel
They
me?
wanted to make me cry during the sentimental movie and then collect the diamonds. But there was one thing they didn't know.
You're smart.
I never get emotional during movies. I
Oh.
don't get scared when I watch horror movies, and I
Oh.
don't cry during tearjerkers.
Oh.
My stepmother and her daughter cried throughout the whole movie.
Oh, so she's emotionless. Well, I guess she was forced to be emotionless because of her mom. So, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
At the same time, they kept checking to see if I was crying too. When the movie was over, they were really upset because they didn't get those diamonds they were dreaming about. Over the next few days,
There's
my
only one
stepmother
choice.
did everything she could to make me cry.
There's only one thing to
Thankfully,
do.
because she was scared of my dad,
Start punching
they were
you.
all harmless tricks. But one of them made me really mad. When I came home after school, I went straight to my room, like I always do.
Put some, like a ghost pepper in her milk or something. Put in some sriracha on her green beans. You know, you have to do something a little more slick. You have to start spiking food.
When I entered my room, I was so shocked by what I saw. The curtains were closed.
Okay.
There were lit candles standing around.
Okay.
The weirdest part was that there were a bunch of photos of my mom taped to the wall. In some of them,
That's
my mom was
sweet.
by herself, and in others, it was both of us. This, of course, was my stepmother's latest trick. I ran over to her. "Can you explain
She
to me
wanted
what
to
is
mourn your
happening in
mother.
my room?" I screamed. She faked surprise, saying, "I found out that your mom's birthday is coming up. I wanted to surprise you. Didn't you like it?" I said, "I didn't because I know why you did it.
Exactly.
I won't cry just because you want me to."
Exactly.
After which she dropped all pretense. "Look, Agnes, you're the goose that lays the golden egg. That's why I won't hurt you. But if you want to live in this house, you'll have to come up with the goods, or I won't be
What?
responsible for what's going to happen to you."
Am I getting threatened? You're not threatening me. Do you not know who I am? I'm Agnes What's our last name?
House, you'll have to come up with the goods, or I won't be responsible for what's going to happen to you. She was clearly threatening me. I got back to my room fuming. I had to do something right away.
A Glock.
When my dad came home, I
You
went
need
to
a
speak
Glock.
with him. Before I could open my mouth, he said, "Your mom called me and told me about what happened between you. She made a surprise for you with the best of intentions. Your reaction is wrong. You've become too paranoid." I said, "Dad, first of all, that woman is not my mother. And how can
Exactly.
you even think that her intentions are good? All she is trying to do is to make me cry and get the diamonds."
Exactly.
My dad got really upset. "Even if you don't accept it, she's your mother now."
Why are you mad at me? Because you have bad taste in women. Your first wife died, so she don't know how to take care of herself.
Is this nigga serious?
We're gonna forget I said that and eat my nuts.
"If you think she wants the diamonds, then give them to her. Why are you being so
What?
stubborn?" he screamed.
You know what? No, you deserve your first wife to die. You're a terrible man. I can't wait till you watch your second one die, and I can't wait until you get your leg chopped off. Fuck you. I felt bad for a second. I thought I said something wrong. Clearly not.
He said that to me. I knew my stepmother got to him. From then on, it was dangerous for me to stay at home because of the things my mom was worried about could happen to me.
Yep.
Except my mom was afraid of the mafia, but it looked like it would be my own stepmother who would hurt me. I thought for a long time. I couldn't go to the police or the social services because then my secret would be out. That could cause a whole lot of other problems. I had enough diamonds hidden in the basement to allow me to support myself for years. But I couldn't leave home because I wasn't an adult yet. I didn't have any relatives that I could safely stay with. Even though I was so angry with my stepmother, I had no choice but to give her what she wanted.
No, you don't. But you have a choice. You don't have to do it. See, me personally, I would have probably just called a hitman. Search up some dark web sense, you know, look up a hitman, things of that nature, and I would have proceeded with my life.
At night, when everyone else was sleeping, I went down to the basement and got a small bag of diamonds. In the morning, I took out a few and went to the kitchen. My stepmother and her daughter were having breakfast. I showed them the diamonds in my hand. Finally, my stepmother screamed.
I would have thrown
She
them at
took the
them.
diamonds. But she was clearly not satisfied, saying, "These are way too few. We need a lot more than just these." Of course, I wasn't going to give her what she wanted. I was going to turn 18 in only 7 months. After that, I was determined to take my diamonds and
So
leave
she's 17
home.
right now.
Until that day came, I was going to stall my stepmother by giving her a few diamonds from time to time.
Okay.
Since the diamonds in the basement were my future, I had to hide them somewhere outside the house, somewhere safer. So you know where I hid them? At my mom's grave. I bought a nice flower planter. I put the bag with the diamonds at the bottom. I filled it up with soil and then planted the flowers on top.
Oh, that's smart.
I went to the cemetery and put the planter in front of my mom's tombstone. I couldn't think of a safer spot than that. Who would steal a flower pot from a grave? I was so relieved because the diamonds were safe with my mom. I left one bag inside the cupboard in the basement.
Even if they did get stolen, she could cry about it being stolen, and then there you go. Oh, she's such a genius.
I was taking a couple of diamonds a few times a month and giving them to my stepmother. Even though she wanted more, she couldn't say anything. Because thanks to me, she'd bought a new car. She was wearing only designer clothes, and she got a ton of jewelry.
That's so nasty.
The day before my 18th birthday, my stepmother and her daughter came to my room. I was about to finally become free, but of course, they didn't know that. My stepmother looked agitated. "Agnes, why aren't we moving into a better house? Why don't we have maids and cooks?" she asked.
What?
"Because you don't have enough money to afford all that." I
Exactly.
replied. She waved her finger at me. "We actually do have money. All you need to do is cry, but you're not doing it on purpose. You're giving us crumbs just like you would to a beggar," she said.
You are a beggar. Don't press me. I get in your life, nigga. All it takes is one tear. Your life is in my hands. Don't try me, nigga. That's what Agnes should say. Agnes, you have the N-word pass from me.
"Do you want me to cry just so that I can give you diamonds?" I asked her. And she said, "Yes, Agnes, I want you to cry. If you don't cry on your own, I will make you cry. I'm done waiting. I'm giving you until tomorrow. If you don't cooperate, you're going to be in a lot of trouble."
That's very convenient.
And she left. Nancy was still in the room. "Agnes, you'd better take my mom seriously. She's capable of doing things you can't even imagine," she said and left, slamming the door behind her. I thought, my dear stepmother gave me until tomorrow, but she has no idea what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yo,
And
dad's
burst
an
out
asshole.
laughing.
Stop it.
Never in my life have I slept more peacefully than I did that night. You're wondering what happened in the house the next day, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know, because I didn't stick around to find out. When I woke up in the morning, I was an 18-year-old adult. I could do whatever I wanted, and I did. I left home without saying a word to anyone. Right now, I'm in a small town on the other side of the country. I'm not using my real name. No one in this town knows who I am. As you might guess, I'm living on the money from the diamonds that I hid at my mom's grave. I don't need a lot of money anyway, but when I do, I can just cry a little. And I found a very easy way to do it. Because I'd never cooked before, I'd never chopped onions either. One day, I was making dinner, and I chopped onions for the first time.
I told them they just had to spike her food a little bit. But they weren't thinking. They're not the thinker like me. I seriously do this shit. I promise you I do.
Suddenly, diamonds started either. One day, I was making dinner, and I chopped onions for the first time. Suddenly, diamonds started pouring out of my eyes. I realized that I could cry very easily thanks to onions. I'm so happy my stepmother couldn't think of this.
Yeah, your stepmother dumb, father's dumb, RIP your mother. I said bad things about you earlier, but you shouldn't have died, bro.
Thank you for listening to my story. Please don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it.
That was some wonderful cap, guys. That was some wonderful cap.